Welcome to the beautiful Basilica of Our Lady of Peace of Yamoussoukro. This Roman Catholic basilica, rather incongruously situated in the Western African bush, is actually listed as the largest church in the whole world. It can accommodate a total of 18,000 worshippers, 7,000 inside the church and another 11,000 at the plaza. While the famous St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican City can accommodate more than 3 times the number of people, it does not match this massive basilica when it comes to total area covered. If you are somewhat familiar with the St. Peter's Basilica, you can see that this church is heavily inspired by it. Both share the same encircled plaza and a massive dome. Despite its grand appearance, and contrary to popular belief, this basilica is not a cathedral. The nearby Cathedral of St. Augustine is the principal place of worship and the seat of the bishop. The cornerstone for this amazing basilica was laid in 1985, and the church stood completed 4 years later. It was later consecrated in 1990 by Pope John Paul II. The basilica was constructed using exotic materials. It contains marble imported from Italy, as well as 7,000 square meters of contemporary stained glass from France. You can also find hundreds of columns throughout the basilica. The smaller ones are used for design and structural reasons, but some of the larger ones actually contain elevators. Apart from the basilica itself, you will find 2 identical buildings in the back, each serving as a rectory and private papal villa respectively. The villa is reserved for papal visits, of which only one has occurred, when the basilica was consecrated. As you can imagine, the price tag for this beautiful basilica was quite hefty. The total cost landed at more than $300 million, a huge amount which added a lot to the national debt of Côte d'Ivoire. Some say even more than doubled it. The man behind this massive project was the Côte d'Ivoire president, Félix Houphouët-Boigny. As a way to memorialize himself, he ordered the construction of what he called the greatest church in the world. Many of Africa's leaders in the 1970s and 80s were prone to using their country's meager resources to build some outrageous buildings that were not exactly suited to the climate, but which very much suited their egos. Another example of this is the fact that the president commissioned a stained glass window of his image to be placed beside a gallery of stained glass of Jesus and the apostles. This image of Félix Houphouët-Boigny depicts him as one of the 3 biblical magi, kneeling as he offers a gift to Jesus. The structure has been criticized for many reasons. The lavishly built basilica sits in the middle of the African bush, in an impoverished city where only a minority of homes has running waters and adequate sanitation. The basilica was also criticized by many art historians and critics for being a modern pastiche of a Western Renaissance masterpiece, and for not having any relation with modern styles of architecture or African culture. Another point of criticism is that only a minority of the Côte d'Ivoire inhabitants are Christians. The majority are either Muslim or some indigenous religion. Despite the controversy surrounding the basilica, the majority of the local people are rather proud of it. When you look at it, it is easy to understand why. It is a remarkably beautiful building